welcome once again to the Sunday service. Guys, it's your host, Goga. I'm the curator-in-chief of the Sunday service. Today, I'm joined by Tony. Tony is the owner behind Extreme Fitness Junkies. And Tony is a personal trainer and dietitian. And at Extreme Fitness, they live by the motto where fitness meets happiness, live, learn, and love. And that right there became the subject of this Sunday service. Tonight, we are going to talk about a lot of things. We are going to dive into the beautiful connection between fitness. We are going to talk about food and also finding true joy in the journey towards fitness. XFJ being a certified, of course, trainer, is going to also just share expert tips on how to build a healthier and happier lifestyle without the pressure, guilt, or being overwhelmed. We're going to talk about tips on how you can create a balanced fitness routine that you actually enjoy so that you're not doing something that you are just like ticking the box. We're going to talk about building a positive relationship with food. There's a whole science to it. There's also going to be a conversation around how to stay motivated when life gets busy. We'll talk about that. And also it's going to expand more on the live, learn, and love mindset and why it changes everything in case you have to adopt that mindset. And this is not just a conversation about your fitness journey. Or those of you, it's not just about fitness, but even just wellness in general. Or in case you're just looking to refresh your routine, this conversation is going to leave you more encouraged, inspired, equipped, and excited to take the next step. Even in your space as content creators, it's going to like be a very nice conversation to shape the kind of decisions you make as we come to the end of May. And it's such an honor to have Tony because this is the last Sunday of the month of May. The year is flying like crazy. Next Sunday will be a new a new month. So Tony is going to close for us the Sunday service for the month of May, and it was such an honor to have him share with me this space today. Tony, without further ado, allow me to bring you up on the panel so that you can introduce yourself to the people in the best way you know how.
All right. Well, welcome, everybody. My name is Tony. I'm a personal trainer, just as Goga had mentioned. I love all those adjectives, the positive, encouraging, inspired. Today, we're going to have a lot of fun. But we're also going to learn. We're going to know more, do better. That's one of my big things. And just having that positive mindset. I just want to say thank you to you, Goga. This is us and what we do. I want to thank them as well. There's so many people I want to thank for my journey, which inspired me to be more of a content creator. I remember it was about a year or two ago where I only had like 5 followers, 5 subscribers, and now I'm at like 1,100. And it's all that positive mindset and that yearning to do more and do better. So like I said, today we're going to be learning a lot from each other, and I don't know all the answers, and I'll throw that out right there. I'm not, I am an expert. I went to school, I have ideas, but I learned from you all. And that motivation keeps me going. And I have a lot of different things I want to share today, from books that motivated me. And just different things, from workouts to healthy eating, but it all starts in the mind.
Love that. So to the people who don't know who Tony is, who is Tony? Where is he based? Before we dive into the details, where is he based? You're also very bubbly in nature. You have some very nice energy. It's very,
appreciate that. Absolutely.
It's a very boisterous energy at the Sunday service. It's not very. There's a word that we like overusing here, demure. It's a very beautiful energy. It's very high energy, high impact energy that is exciting everybody on the live stream. And you can even tell based on how people are just welcoming you. Who is Tony? Where is he from? And before we get into now XFJ, and just before he starts his introduction, I met Tony courtesy of This Is Us and What We Do, and it was a very late night live stream. I think she was interviewing me, and I saw Tony there, and I think by then Tony, I don't even think you had reached 50 subscribers, right? I think it was like it was thereabout. It was like he was just about to get 50 subscribers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look at you now. You're like at over 1K. You're now working towards your WH. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Introduce yourself to the tribe. I mean, I'm sure they'll be very curious.
Yeah. So Yeah, we're working on our brand. I'm working on my brand, but Extreme Fitness Junkies started back in 2016. Originally in Miami, Florida. We still represent Florida. That's where we're originally based from, in Chicago now. But 2016, um, I my eating, my lifestyle wasn't too good. Went to the doctor, and they're like, um, you need cholesterol medicine, you need diabetes medicine, you're overweight. And I'm like, you know what? We are going to make a change. We're going to make a change. And from that day, my family has really pushed me. My mother, my father, my grandmother, my whole family. They really have inspired me. My wife, just to keep pushing myself. And, from there, I just did a lot of research. When I went along to get my personal trainer certification and dietitian certification, and I just go from there. It was just a slap in the face, I call it. A reality check. I have 2 children now, and I want to do better. And it's not just with me. Everybody has their stories. Everybody has their stories. Everybody has, speed bumps, I call them. But I want to share my story today so you could be inspired and you can live a better life. And that's the only thing, everything about Extreme Fitness Junkies. We bring fitness to there, and there you go. Exactly. We bring that health inspired fitness. Fitness brings happiness, and happiness brings fitness. They go hand in hand. But you have to start somewhere. And one of the biggest thing is you fall flat on your face. And you know what? You get up, you pick yourself up, and you do better. So, like I said, honestly, I've been exercising. So from 2016, I think I have it in there. I established in 2016, somewhere around there. But, I every day, and I fall off. I'll be honest, I'm human. I fall off, that train, the bus, whatever you call it. But you pick yourself back up. And I think family and friends are a really core of and that mindset. And I'll talk more about that, but that Navy SEAL positive mindset, that strength that I carry.
Nice. Why the name? Why the name Extreme Fitness Junkies? Like it could have been, a fitness junkie. It could have been a fitness mogul. It could have been a
Yeah.
fitness king. Why Extreme Fitness Junkies in terms of this being a name? And is it? I noticed that Extreme Fitness Junkies is not just a YouTube channel. There's a lot that has gone in terms of the logo on social media. You talked about you have a Spotify. You do have these platforms. So what is the inspiration behind Extreme Fitness Junkies? And is it like a company? Is it like fitness? I don't know, place, or what is it? Just tell us more about
Right.
it, Jay.
There's no symbolic representations. There's nothing. I honestly don't remember coining that. Extreme is and junkies, I think, is just pushing yourself to where you need to be. And you were extreme, we're at one end, and I thought X, like the X Games or something that's different, that's catchy. And then junkies is someone who's like really passionate about what they do. So I crunched those together in between fitness. And I went from there. And there's a lot of like mental mindset and heart. You're 60-40, as people say. When you're feeling you've done that 40, your mind, you're in an exercise, you're in a bench press, and you're like, I'm done. Well, that's that 40%. You're only at 40%. That other 60% that you have. So again, that it's that positive, it's like a sandwich, extreme, and then fitness is in the middle, fitness junkies, and we put it together. So that's all I could think of as far as like that. I really didn't have an epiphany or anything like that. So yeah,
it's super creative, to be honest. And even Kanini Kaneno is on the chat, is like saying, oh wow, my colleague is here because she's also into fitness, and that's what she does on YouTube. And it's so nice to just see, it's just nice to us just like acknowledging that one. Kanini, I hope you have connected to your colleague. Yeah, just click on the pinned link there. Red Room had your introduction, and he said, I need a change too. So he's saying he needs a change too. So let's circle back to 2016. And you say that there was like a lot of support, even in terms of your family pushing you towards making better lifestyle choices,
Yes,
things like
yes,
that. What was life like before 2016? Or
absolutely.
what was the lifestyle like, and why
Yeah.
did why was it like, there's that moment you realize that I need to
Hmm.
make a decision, and then you did
Absolutely.
make the decision. So what was life like before 2016 that triggered that change?
Right. For one, I've always been a very ambitious person. I'm always learning, I'm always reading. But like I said, I think that one doctor visit really shook me up when I saw those numbers.
Mm.
Um, my HDL, my LDL, all that stuff, and that really has shook me up. The cakes, the cookies. I'm Italian and I love my culture to death. But let me tell you, my mom, I want to give her a big shout out. My dad, they are just amazing cooks. And if you go under my channel, you will see the dishes for the holidays, for Christmas, the Easter. I mean, we are just blessed with all the food. I mean, no kidding. But the cookies, the cakes, the candies, the sweets, the passion. So that was one of my big things. I overindulge, and I did not take that away. You do not take that away because it's a lifestyle. I still eat that, but I am mindful of my caloric intake. I'm mindful of, and I'll talk more about micros versus macros and just different
Mm.
numbers. I plug in all that. I do all the formulas, but I don't want to stray away from your question. But you know, just being overweight, being winded, and I wasn't really overweight, but I was to the point where running was a chore. Walking, and I really wasn't happy, and I feel like my confidence wasn't there. Um, so that really, I'm like, you know what, I need to make a change. And
Mm.
these fad diets didn't work. Starving yourself doesn't work, because you're just gonna go back the next day and you're gonna just recompensate for what you didn't eat. And it was just a vicious cycle of going back and forth, back and forth. And in Italian culture, if you don't eat the food, that's a little disrespectful. So we're still trying to work on that. I love you, mom and dad. And I do eat a little, but it's always, Italian people, where it's all about eating and it's all from the heart. It's all about food. So, but
I, I,
it's a balance.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because of how you have to apologize to your parents on the live stream because
Right.
of the Italian culture, and you already know Italians and their food. So I mean, I'm just trying to imagine, like, when you had to make that decision to do
Yep.
after coming from the doctors, and you have to like do a drastic change in terms of your lifestyle.
Yep.
And I know your wife is watching, and I know the kids are watching. But if your mom and dad are watching, I'm very curious about. I just learned about the Italian connection today. Are they in Italy, or they are in the States like you?
No, they're in the States here.
Okay,
I'm a first generation American, so they were here, and then I was born here, but they
nice,
immigrated from Italy to here, and we go back and forth. Right, right.
nice.
Yeah.
So how do you have to go and tell your mom when you visit your parents? Like, you have to say no. Uh, and an Italian woman is just like a typical. I think we have similarities even with Africa. You know that what is wrong with you, because there's that community aspect when it comes to the families in Italy, and so is Africa. Like, sometimes I have to avoid going to visit some of my relatives because I'll have to decline maybe something, and then they will take offense.
Exactly, hundred
So do
percent.
you go back to your mother and say, Mom, I no longer eat this stuff? Or
Yeah,
maybe Maggie, your wife makes something and you have to like tell your wife, babe, is there like an alternate? Like, how was that shift?
again, it's all based in love and support, and they know that I'm working on my 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 healthy and well-being,
Yeah.
and that's where it goes to my part, moderation. I'm not going to just be disrespectful and say, hey, you know what, I'm not going to eat your food. I will try a little bit, I will get pushed for more, but it's they understand that I am on a journey. This is a journey that I started and I'm continuing every day. And there's
Mm.
days that I fall and there's days that I do well, but they respect that and they understand. So it's out of love, but there's a lot of you know um, compromises, so to speak.
I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. And yeah, you can see TK is saying, same with my culture, Tony. You don't eat the food, it's taken as disrespectful. Yeah. TK is just trying to like.
Yeah, I see that, TK. Thank you for sharing that.
God's Effects, thank you so much. I see God's Effects on your channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for connecting to Tony. And I'm glad you guys are watching from there. Stay there, stay there, stay there. It's okay. It's stay there and support him from there. The World of Ruckus, who is watching you from Germany, says, my best pressing is when doing alternative breathing. Other than that, I'm losing weight at the moment, and I'm planning to go to the gym again after a long time.
That's great. That's great.
So yeah, so to somebody like Ruckus, who is whose reasons of going to the gym are best known to me, but just kidding. But somebody who's like embracing now going to a space like the gym after like years and stuff like that. What is that piece of advice you would give them? Because I'm assuming even in 2016, when you had to make that decision that you have to get to a gym, you have to have a fitness routine.
Absolutely.
Very important. It was not an easy decision. So what is the piece of advice you would have for somebody who wants to get into that particular?
Right. First thing I would say is consult with your doctor before you make any fitness decisions. It sounds like you've been at the away from the gym in a while. Just consult with your doctor and let them know what they recommend. Second, you want to go to the gym. You don't want to just say, hey, I'm here. You want to go with an idea of what you're going to do. And it doesn't have to be something in real specific. You want to come up with a plan. So what are you going to be working? Are you going to be working upper body? Are you going to be working lower body? What is your time frame? What are you, how many reps are you going to do? Hey, let me tell you something. When I first started going to the gym, I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed with all the machines. And the one thing that it was the machines, but it was the people. And let me tell you, the people. I was so ashamed. Not ashamed, but I was afraid. Well, you're not doing it right, or you did.
Yes.
All these in my head. I was always thinking, oh, but you know what? You're there. You made that point of being there, and you just give it all you got. If it's you're gonna lift 5 pounds 10 times, hey, you know what? You made a difference. It doesn't matter what people think, and 9 times out of 10, they don't care about what you are doing. It's all mentally. Yeah.
What about these people? You go to the gym and you have these people are like looking amazing, like they just stepped out of a magazine, and some of them are like on their phones, recording that moment.
Selfies.
Some people here taking selfies, showing off their 6-pack, and we all know everybody has a 6-pack. It's just that some are more hidden than others. There's a lot that goes on to the gym. So how did you overcome that initial? That initial thing. And for me, I remember because I'm not much of a gym person, but I remember just going to the studio. I was so intimidated the first time.
Intimidated. That's the word. Yes. Intimidated.
So how did you overcome that? Those first few days at the gym, you trying to trying to take in all these machines. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have no idea what is going on there. What does this machine do? Yet sometimes you may be hurting yourself, and then you have somebody there who is just taking selfies and showing off, and they look like God, the next best thing after God. Right. And you're wondering, how do I become that? So what was that like experience like?
Right. Absolutely. So like I said before, you got to go in there with a plan. And there are many times where I've injured myself. I went in there and I just started lifting. Oh yeah, to your point, Goga, I want to be shredded. I want to be beast. That takes time. That takes decades. If you're gonna do something all natural, that's what it's gonna do. It's gonna take time, and I see that as distractions. One of my biggest and best thing are my investment are some earbuds. Music in, zone out.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a plan. You're stretching. The plan encompasses, what you're doing for the day. Always have a plan when you're going to the gym. Don't just go in there and saying, well, I'm just going to do this and that, and I'm going to do a little elliptical. I'm going to do a little treadmill. I'm going to lift some weights. You're not going to be accomplished. At the end of the day, you're going to ask yourself, what did I do? What did I do? So having a plan and sticking to that plan. And earphones in, a world off. That's what I call it. Earbuds in, on, world off. And you just you do what you need to do, and don't try not to do 100 miles an hour. This is not a competition. This is not Guinness Book of Records that we need to be lifting 500 pounds. So I see a lot of, clients that I used to work with that they want results and they want results by next week. And I'm sorry to break it to you, you're not going to get that result. And I don't care, even if you go the other way with all that's out there, you're not going to get those results and you're not going to maintain those results. People want it and they want to maintain it. And like I said, I don't want to get into nitty gritty, but there's a lot of things out there that people do to get those fast results. And then, later down the road, there's consequences for those results, whether it's surgery, whether it's, damaging vital organs and things of that nature. So I try to steer clear. You do, and all goes down to that plan. And if I may, I want to, if it's okay, I really want to show something that I've really encompassed over the years. I picked this up. Actually, we have another one that I've made on my own.
Nice.
This is actually, I'm not selling this. This is just for me, but this is Extreme Fitness Junkies. How you like the orange, Yoga?
I love it.
We have, the headphones, the earphones, we have the healthy eating, and you're just doing you. And, coming up with a plan, something simple. What are you going to do? What are your sets? Something simple. And then this is 2 days. And then finally, I'm really big on macros and micros and just been logging foods. I've been logging foods since 2016. So I can tell you what I ate June 5th of 2017.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I have books and books. I have libraries here, which I'm going to be recycling soon. But I have books of food, and I do calculation of my food intake. So you lose weight by having a caloric intake, right? So the more food you put in your mouth, but the less calories you're burning, you're gonna gain weight, right? But anyways, I don't want to go into like lifting.
Wait. I'm kind of still stuck at the logging in food.
Yeah.
Like you record what you eat daily.
You record what you eat. So I record what I eat. So this morning I had a smoothie with all different foods. I logged that in, but banana nut protein oatmeal. At lunch I had, a turkey sandwich, and I have fruit plates every day for lunch. But I log in what I eat, and then I have my macros. Yes, macros are your calories, your fats, your protein, and your carbs. Those are called macros. Micros are the vitamin B, vitamin D. Those are the small. I don't track any of that. So I do that and I get numbers. All right, Goga and everybody, I get numbers. And I have a 2,400 surplus of calories. That's before exercise. And I stay within my caloric intake of those 2,400 calories. It's a lot, but my wife and my family support me. I've been doing this for years. I also use an app on my phone to get those numbers. So I just don't know those numbers, and it does it for me. So
wow.
And that's like my journaling, my meditation. That's my way of grounding myself. It's like a meditation / journaling, which I also journal. I try journaling every night, but and I come out with and some days, I've gone over my caloric intake, and that's okay. That's what I try to tell people. It's okay to go over. It's okay to slip up. We're human. So, but yeah.
We are human. And speaking of human beings that are amazing, we have Sorrow Mish on the live stream.
All right, welcome.
This is the person who introduced us to each other. So Mish, XFJ is on the panel. I'm sure you are very proud just seeing him here. Yes, Tony. Hey, Tony and Goga. Hey to you, Mish. Nice to see you, Mish.
Welcome.
Yeah, and thank you so much for tapping in. You have comments. There's some nice comments coming in on the chat. Natechovi, for example, says, Tony, I tried squats. It was very painful, and I stopped it in 2 days' time. Yo,
yeah.
Wait, Natecho, aren't you the same person I see doing some very interesting squats on YouTube for your views? What do you mean you stopped doing squats? What are those squats you're normally doing on YouTube? Anyway, just to answer Natecho, for people maybe who are for this kind of a comment, I don't know what you'd advise her in case she was your client.
Yeah, so I would say don't ever stop. I'm curious where the pain was. I'm guessing that these were barbell squats. And you can always modify. And by what I mean by modifications are, you're not doing the whole deep squat. You're doing maybe half the squat, maybe even bending your knees just a little bit. The more you do, the more you improve. That's why I tell my clients, the more you do, the more you improve. So if you feel pain, that's the right thing to do, is just hold up, but then analyze, go back and say, what made me that pain? There's a lot of people that get, and I'm not saying you, but there's a lot of people that say, oh man, I hurt myself. There's no way. I am not doing that exercise again. I'm done. Keep at it, my friend. Just keep at it. You got this.
I like that. Ragas just says what you said. I've been away from the gym so long, I had to Google the word again. But I'm on diet now with the doctor's advice.
That's a good one.
And we'll go to the gym again with the doctor's advice to better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
You do have, I like the comments, guys.
Remember, it's 80% of what you eat. I don't care if you go to the gym 7 days a week and you spend 3 hours in the gym. It's 80% of what you eat. The other 20% comes from that physical. And you can Google that. You can look that up. But if someone is eating poor fast food, you go to McDonald's, and that's another thing. I've really I've curbed fast food. Fast food is easy. It's there. Obviously, I have it once in a while. We know our backs are to the walls, but I really am mindful of what I put in my mouth. 100%.
Tony, let me ask a question, because you say, are you are an educator, and you're an educator.
By day, yes.
Are you those people normally carry like their own food to the office? Like,
yes.
Yes. Oh wow.
I meal prep every night, and like I said before, I hinted to it. I have 4 different kinds of fruit that I have. Like, I have these fruit plates, and I make them for my wife. And on the weekends, with my son, I put a lot of fruit. You gotta be careful with fruit; it has a lot of sugar. But I keep that fruit in our diet, because if you look at the food pyramid, and I still use that. Fruit is a really vital component of it's a natural sugar too, but too much fruit is not good. Everything in moderation. But yes, I also strive to have 128 ounces of liquid each day, but mostly water. The sodas, the refined, the sugars, that we stay away from. But you'll see me with my lunch bag with my little totes, and then I have my bottle of water. Sometimes I have, Misha, you probably see that the huge gallon. I try to get a gallon.
Wait, you carry that whole thing like of. There's a whole joke in an office setup of
finish.
all these people carry like huge gallons of water because they have to take their daily intake.
Yep. Your brain does so much better. I used to crash with headaches. When you're in education and you're working, you're constantly on your feet. You're constantly going, answering emails, working with X, working with Y, working with Z. And if you're not hydrated, I used to get these real bad headaches. And I started drinking more water, and the headaches went away. Just keeping hydrated is real key, and it's even in weight loss journey. Moderation. I'm not telling people go ahead and go have a gallon of water. It's not safe, right? But moderate it and make choices. You're gonna pick up that can of soda, or you're gonna, they have San Pellegrino water. I also drink the bubbly water. That's water too. Sometimes water's boring, but you got to do what you got to do.
You have there's some beautiful comments. I like how people are actually interested and asking very interesting questions on the chat. There's a very nice comment here from TK. TK says consistency and dedication is what I'm learning
100%.
as the main key to achieving the healthy lifestyle. From what I'm listening to here.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, when did you so you said you started this journey in 2016. It's like nearly 9 years ago.
Yeah, almost a decade.
When did it become when did it now become it become a lifestyle? Because you get to a certain place that people think you're just experimenting.
Yeah.
People think it's like a New Year resolution. You will get tired of it and move on to other things. When did you realize that this journey had become a lifestyle, and it is something that you knew you're going to see whether you can sustain for the next couple of months, not even years, because I know by then you're just looking at it in terms of months.
Right.
And then so what was that like? How did you how did you achieve that consistency that it
Right.
became like a lifestyle? Yeah.
So I want to say when I saw physical changes in my body, um, I went to go put on a pair of pants. I'm like, wow, I need a belt here. So I want to say maybe within 3 to 6 months, I
Mm.
noticed that my pants were fitting me. I wasn't out of breath, running. Um, I was confident when I went to work. I was confident when I was wearing a t-shirt. Um, just that physical appearance. Um, one really big one was going to the doctor and seeing my HDL. So we have LDLs in cholesterol and we have good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. HDL is your good cholesterol. LDL is your bad cholesterol. So if you increase your physical fitness, your HDL goes up, and your LDL theoretically will go down.
Mm.
That was really good. Both went down. That was really good. But what's really pushing me now is having that genetics part, and we'll talk about that. But genetics with cholesterol is my family has all that, the cholesterol, that. So I'm fighting a battle. So last time I went to the doctor, my HDLs, my LDLs were the same. So that's motivating me more to do better, even though that it's a fine line and a fine balance. But just physical appearance, mentally, you know things that I can do that I couldn't have done. I want to say this past, was it January? No, February. I did 100,000 flips jump roping. It actually is in one of my shorts where I did it in 1 year. I did 100,000 flips, and that was one of my things on my bucket list. With this little jump rope right here. Every morning, come in. We're in our personal fitness. This is my gym. This is my basement. I did it with this jump rope. But that's I probably went off on that question.
No, no, it's pretty good because, and I like how it's very simple, because it's something simple like skipping just to get the cardio in, and so it's this will be applying maybe to somebody who wants to like make a better choice in terms of their fitness and maybe to create that routine, and maybe they cannot afford let's say gym membership or gym
Oh yes,
or
yes.
things like that. So I don't know, maybe what is your take on this? Because there are people who actually want to stay fit and they hear, oh, you just need to skip,
Mm-hmm.
just need to skip.
It's
And
good,
nowadays
great cardio.
you have YouTube University where people can do these certain things, but
Yes,
also there's also the fear of what if I get injured?
yes.
Um, yeah, what if I also get injured? Because maybe that's why now trainers normally come in. What is your take on it in case somebody wants to start small,
Mm-hmm.
even in their home, just to build that
Absolutely.
consistency from home?
100% consistency from home. Absolutely. um, you can be creative. Going back to my fitness, I actually plan all my workouts on my own, and I put stickers here as well to
Tony,
motivate myself.
do you know how many of these books do you have? I'm very curious.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got about like 15 or 20 of them.
Wow,
I would put in a lot of money in this. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna make my own.
nice.
So once I'm done with this, they're year-long books. I take it to my doctor as well to show him, my progression. But I started mine. But I want to get off your question is, so if you're starting small, you know, every every week, like on Sunday, I sit and I reflect on the week. And I start with a warm up as always. I do glutes, chest, arms, triceps, and then I do like lower body, upper body, and lower body. But you know, something like a fitness band like this,
Mm.
you can do about 30 or 40 different exercises. You can work shoulders, you can work your biceps, you can work your glutes, you can work. So having something like this that you can pick up, you can do anything you want. I have weight plates. I have, these are longer resistant bands that you can use. uh,
Ah.
so you can use basically anything. I like having exercises too that are rooted in like your whole body. Planks, push-ups, crunches. Because if you have a core, that's strong, that will power your entire body. It's that core. Um, yeah. So, but starting with something so small, like I don't I was at the gym. I do work at a gym. But I have this and that. I picked up stuff from garage sales from friends. And I make it happen. It's all of what you wanted to make. It's that strong mindset that I can and I will. And nothing's going to stop me until I get the prize.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. You have a very interesting comment here, and I think that was what I was going to ask next. You're being asked. Now, this is the $100 million question. Does your program allow the so-called cheat days?
Yes.
Meaning once in a week, like a nice food treat of what you usually die for?
Yeah.
I know you get asked this a lot, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And as you answer this question, Tony, I want you to answer and tell us whether you normally add it into the book as well.
Oh, 100%.
The
Accountability.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't have a day for cheating because I feel like that you're setting yourself up when you have a day, right? Oh, today I'm going to eat garbage. I'm going to have the biggest Big Mac. I'm going to go have my chocolate ice cream, with the syrup. No, I have within the week, I give myself like, little treats, I call them, and I log it in, and I make sure, I make sure that I have my caloric intake. I have enough calories. So if I know I'm gonna have some apple pie, I'm not gonna have that lunch with all the calories, or I'm not gonna have that big breakfast because I know that's gonna make up for later. So that's the thing. I don't necessarily have those cheat days, but I integrate it. And Sundays is like my Sabbath, my rest days. I take Sunday off. I work out 6 out of 7 days, and Sunday is just the day where I just I could sleep in. I could just enjoy with my kids and my family and just be me. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Interesting comments. Guys, if you have any question you want to ask Tony, feel free to drop it on the chat. But I like the engagement. I like the interest that you're having. And it's really good. And I like how he's making it very simple to just understand.
Absolutely. And that's where to start. If you subscribe to my channel, everyone, this is free information. Okay. I'm not in it. I don't even know how to doing the whole thing on YouTube. I'm all new to this, but I want to make people live happier and healthier lives. I want to help people be their best. I actually have my son, Junior, I call him, and sometimes we do product evaluations, short 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes at night. We go live and we look at different foods. So I do recommendation for children too. If you have small children, please log in. You can hear my son, Junior, in the background. He likes to add his commentary on healthy, well eating. And it starts young. If you have young kids, start them young.
Teach them when they're young. Teach
Absolutely.
them when they're young. Tony, there is a concept about no pain, no gain. As a yoga person and as a yoga instructor, my teachers are very against this concept.
Yes.
Yet I know there's a time I had to teach yoga to some rugby team. And in the studio, and it was so amazing how they walked into the yoga studio saying, they are buffed and they are huge and stuff, and they're like, why are we doing this again? But of course, their captain who had said that they needed to go and do some few stretches and stuff. So they walked in there and they were very dismissive of the yoga practice itself. And then they get in there and they're like, why are we sweating like crazy? We are not breathing. We are just dropping here like crazy, and their people are just very stable. They have their balance and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have different ways on how we approach fitness. There are people who approach it in a very subtle way. There are people who want the result. I want it now. Go big or go home. But also there's also that aspect of the myth of no pain, no gain. Mm-hmm. And this sometimes normally makes people start dreading workouts generally, because it becomes workout now becomes something something painful, something that you don't even want to look forward to, because anytime you imagine that you're going to put in your reps, or you're going to show up maybe the 30 minutes that you have to do something, you literally dread that hour. The question here then would be, how what are some of your ideas, or maybe what are some of your tips in us creating like fitness routines that we can actually look forward to, like
Oh,
rather than that
absolutely.
thing you're seeing on an app and you're like, you're,
Hmm.
you're even
It's
scared to like even,
overwhelming.
yeah.
Yeah. So good question, Goga. I just want to say good questions. So you make it meaningful and you make it fun. That's one of the things, and that's that easy. I plan my workouts for the week. On Sundays I do 6 days of planning, and I use the same tools. I'm inspired by different magazines. As you see, I take magazines, and I'm always learning. I'm a wealth of knowledge. I'm
Mhm.
picking here and there, and I design activities that are fun, and I don't do the same thing twice in a week. So and I keep it simple. So if I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna work out arms, I can do 3 sets of 15 with an easy curl bar. Then if I want to work out a different part of a bicep the next week, I can do like more of a concentration curl. So I keep it simple and I keep it fun. There's exercises, let me tell you, there's exercises that, like legs, I don't know
Mhm.
about you guys, but training legs is boring. And I I try to make it fun. I try to use resistance bands. I try to use dumbbell plates. I try to get creative. And what I also like to do is like learn more. Um, I I follow a lot of like other personal trainers on Instagram. I get ideas from magazines. I research online. I've also, as we were saying with Goga, I was talking. I use a lot of the artificial intelligence, which is really, really neat. You'd be surprised on what they can do, and what
Mhm.
it can spit out. So like I said, to answer your questions, I keep it always changing, always revolving. I don't do the same pattern every week. I want to say the past decade, there is not one week that I have done the same exercises. Because if you get into that, you're number one, your form is gonna go because you're tired. Let's get this done. The passion is gonna go. And then guess
Yes.
what's gonna happen? Number three, you're gonna pull a muscle, you're gonna get hurt, and then you're knocked out. And then you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done.
I know. I like that. And yeah. Uh there's a question that came in here. I think I missed this. Mish was asking about your fitness journal, whether it can be bought.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm working on that. You know, I appreciate that, Sorel. Me, she's really. I want to just highlight. I want to put her on spotlight here. She's really pushed me to uh, really streamline this, and actually, it not only with YouTube content creation, but she's also helped me look at myself, and what am I doing here? What am I doing with my fitness? So she's like rejuvenated me. So I want to give you a shout out. But I'm working on having like merch, dropping merch. We're also looking at fitness journals. Once I get ideas and more of these made, and just trying to figure out what the plan is. But definitely thinking of having like a store. I've also like tinkered with having my own app. Um, and where you can download off like Google Play,
Nice.
or I they don't even have iTunes anymore. It's the Apple App Store, whatever it is. But I have it all, but um, yeah. So I we're working on that. Yeah,
Okay. Just Jam Blog says thank you for the tips.
you're
I really
welcome. All
appreciate that.
free.
Really appreciate that. Agatha is asking you, Tony, is it possible for you to go live one day and just give us a training in your favorable time?
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, I'm thinking of doing more of the workouts like we did. There's some, if you look in my channel, like the Bulgarian squats, where I actually explain the the way you squat and the way you position, because there's a lot of people that do it, and I'm not going to say wrong. You are
Mm.
not doing it wrong. You just need to tweak the way you're sitting or standing. And it's one things I use with clients. That word wrong, that should be just
Mm.
eliminated. You just need to be modified a little bit. And but definitely looking into more of like having that. One of my biggest thing was, hey, I don't know if people want to watch me work out. I was awkward like that. But I'm seeing more and more, to your question, getting that motivation, and just having maybe like a seminar or like a Q&A kind of thing, like spotlight some like a glutes activity or a arms activity. I think I'm going to be doing that, just breaking it down and talking about like, the different muscle compositions, the different sets, how many reps, and how long you should do that. So I appreciate that question.
Thank you for that. Welcome, Bambi. Bambi Palermo, nice to see you once again. And guys, once again, if you've not connected to Extreme Fitness Junkies, there's a link that is pinned on top of my chat. Click on that link, it will take you to his live stream. We are multi-streaming as well. The live stream is happening both in the United States and here in Nairobi, Kenya. So in case you're not connected to him, we are multi-streaming on both platforms. So make sure you are connected to him so that you can do that directly on his live stream, and then you can leave him a comment on one of his videos in case you want him to see that you are there as well. So that he can connect back to you maybe in a couple of days. So make sure you do that as well, so that you can be part of his community. Let us shift the conversation to food.
Yes.
You
Manja,
are
manja.
yeah. You're also one person that you're very keen in terms of people understanding their relationship with food. As a dietitian, because this is one of the badges you wear, as a dietitian, what is your philosophy generally when it comes to eating and also dieting? Because and here I also want you to talk to us about these people who are doing intermittent fasting and things like that. How do we as human beings heal our relationship with food? Because there are some of us, when we see good food, now I'm even getting embarrassed. Guys, don't go and watch my shorts, because there are some things I've been posting there now that if Tony goes and watches those things, our relationship with food, what do we need to know from a space from you speaking to us as a dietitian?
Absolutely. Great question. But it all goes down to modernizing and motivating yourself and having a moderation of food. Okay. So there's days, like I said this over and over, that you do gorge on stuff. You had that slice of pizza with pepperoni, and that's okay. A lot of people, to word I'm looking for, really go hard down on themselves, and then that's when they deprive themselves. The deprivation of food, and constantly saying, hey, you know what, oh man, and I ate this, I ate that, oh, I'm just going to continue eating. And it's a wheel, and it's a horrible cycle that you get into, and it just gets worse and worse, and the next thing, you're out of control. So it's baby steps. If you can tweak something in your eating lifestyle, like if it's okay, I'm going to start with breakfast today. I'm not going to have those hash browns. I am going to have that, that sandwich, but I'm not going to have the hash browns. I'm not going to put 8 creams in my coffee and 4 sugars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a baby step. And once you come to that realization that you've made that little step, it's easier. I've been down that road. Where I used to have the 8 creams and the 4 sugars. I used to have the donut, the 2 donuts, the 3 donuts, and it spirals. So, in understanding that you need to forgive yourself. And there's days where you do eat the 2 donuts and you eat that everything, but you get up the next day and you say, I'm going to make that change. What also has helped me is to log everything that I eat. And I know that's a lot. There's a lot of you can do voice to text on the phone. I'm old school, where I'm maybe a little too much, but I write it in a journal, and I also log it into my phone. And that's my mental mindset. That's my time to do like me time, where I log my food. But that has also helped me. That's my philosophy. I also heard you mention about fasting. Now, I've done a lot of research on fasting, and I feel like there's pros and then there's cons. I've known that fasting has been around for a long time, and there's a lot of pros on how your body, and you see all this research on how your body really your fat, your heart, everything, your liver just adapts to the fasting. That's good. But if you're a diabetic, and you need the food. So again, it's case by case. If and I obviously I would consult a doctor before making any of these drastic changes. But you have to really look at yourself. You have to sit down with a piece of paper and you have to really put words on paper. And what's your plan? You need to have a roadmap on where you're going to go. And it does sound cliche and it does sound silly, but you need to figure it out. You can't just wing it, because when you wing it, the accountability goes away, and you're just not making good choices. I always go back to that Navy SEAL mindset. It's called the OODA loop. OODA. Observe, orient, decide, act. Observe. What are you doing? You're eating a dozen donuts. You're stopping on the way home to get a burger. You're orient. Okay, I did this. What's my action plan? Decide. You're deciding, okay, tomorrow I'm going to decide I'm not going to do this. And then you're going to act. So that's really big on one of my guiding principles. OODA loop.
OODA loop. Are there any tips? And this is because I know food. Everybody eats.
Yes.
And food is one of those emotive topics, I think, everywhere. Do you have some maybe 3 or small realistic maybe nutrition habits that somebody can start today, in case somebody wants to be more mindful when it comes to what they take in? And I remember when I had to give up sugar, added sugar completely, that I can take tea without sugar, coffee without sugar. That is a journey that took me 3 years. And I remember when I had to start. And I remember when I had to start that journey, I used to take 3 teaspoonfuls of sugar in my tea. And this was when I was in my 20s. And then I remember when I started the journey, and I remember my teacher telling me that, okay, let's reduce it to 1 spoon. And I was like, no. Why? Because I could not get the taste completely.
The taste, you're right. It's that.
And then I just started with the 1 spoon. And at some point I said, okay, let me reduce it to half. And then, of course, now the taste is disappearing completely, until I stopped completely adding sugar in tea or coffee or anything. Nowadays, the sugar becomes a problem. You put sugar in my tea, I start coughing. My body rejects it.
Yeah, that's what will happen.
Yeah, so it rejects it. I start having bouts of coughing in case. So I've even given my aunt, one of my aunts loves putting sugar in the tea when I'm visiting. And I've always said, please just get a cup that is totally separate and don't put any sugar in it.
Yeah.
Are there any tips, maybe, because this is just sugar, but people eat different things. For some people, they say in case they want to eat fast food, they treat themselves to fast food, let's say on a weekend. Your rest day, your cheat day, the cheat day that Ragas was asking you about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, modifying what you're going to be doing. So if you're going to go have some fast food, instead of ordering, I know it's hard, instead of ordering the fries, you can order a side salad, or you can order some apples. I like the crunching sensation. I was a big chips guy. I like having, a sandwich with chips. I replaced the chips with a healthy Smart popcorn, which is fine, no butter. I've also used carrot sticks. And it's that gratification, going back to the sugar, what you were saying. It's that gratification. I also like to have a glass of water when I wake up, a glass of water before my meal, because that helps regulate not only my metabolism, but that also regulates my digestive as well, my digestive system. But making little moves and ordering, being mindful of what you order. You'll still have, the burger, but instead of having the French fries and the onion rings, is there something like an alternative that you can have that's a little bit more healthy with that?
I like that. And Just Jem says that she's also on the journey to avoiding sugar, so she's replacing sugar with some honey.
That's great.
Sharon Shield says that she totally gave up sugar as well, so we're in the same boat. And I like what you're saying in terms of you have to be very deliberate. And sometimes I remember there's a time my job involved a lot of traveling.
That's
And I know
hard.
I know sometimes the best way of really getting food in check is actually eating at home. And sometimes when you have to like go out, maybe there are days there are weeks I could live in a hotel, like even for a week, and I did not have the luxury of having homemade food. And up to date, nowadays, anytime I have to be forced to go and live in a hotel, I dread going to a hotel because I'm like, oh my goodness, here goes the bad food again. It has gotten to that particular point, but I like what you said about it is those small steps like, you know what, I don't need to serve everything in the buffet. I could just go to the healthy
Yeah,
corner. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's hard. Making that initial
it
decision
is,
is hard.
it is hard.
Once you make that decision, it's that gratification, and it's not easy. I want to say, I'm not an expert, like I said at the beginning of our conversation. I don't know all the answers. But what I can tell you is that it's that initial step. Once you take that initial step and you do go with the carrot sticks, it's not that bad.
It's
It's
not
not
that
that
bad.
bad. It's that initial craving. I was a big soda drinker, Goga. I used to drink about 4 or 5 a day, and
Yeah.
that was one of the things that I had to curb. Water's boring. I get it.
Water is boring
It's
for sure.
boring. But what can I do? I can cut a fresh lemon in water. Now summer's coming here in the States. We have fresh watermelon. I could do an infusion of water. I could, you know, Gatorade is not the best. It's they have low sugar, but I dilute it in a gallon, so you're
Yeah.
still getting that taste, that sensation. Um, but it's making those choices, and believe me, it is hard, 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 hard. Yeah,
It is hard. It is hard. And Mish says, yes, the sweet treats
yeah.
are sometimes hard to pass. I have to pass up the treats at work countless times. That
She
is
see
true.
me slip at work all the time. I slip at work all the time, and give me that look. I see you. I see you, Sierra So Royale. But you know what? Uh, it's that moderation. It's that moderation, and
Yeah.
knowing that you can make a mistake, and a lot of people think that once they do go down that road, there's no way up. But every
Mm.
day is a new day. God bless. Every day I tell myself, every day I wake up, God gives me the energy to wake up. I have a fresh start. I have a fresh start on my journey. I have a fresh page, and I'm gonna do better. I will do better.
I like that. Welcome, Title Pro. Nice to see you as well. I think I like that. Okay. TK says, hey, soda drinks is my weakness. I
Yeah,
am
yeah,
fighting so hard to stop drinking too much of it, but it's so hard.
yeah. Oh, believe me.
So hard.
I drink
Okay.
a soda the other day. Again, I don't take it away. Man, that sugar just hit me. I'm like that. Wow! Like when you don't drink that stuff every day, it gets a kick.
Yes.
Yeah,
The yeah, you get that like that bout of energy that just comes
yeah,
in.
yeah,
It's amazing. Um, so you talked about meal prep. You talked about
yes,
meal prep and you talked about journaling your food. I know most of us, and I literally know, I know 90% of the people, the 30 people who are looking at us right now. I know like a number of them, 90% are not going to start journaling what they eat. Um,
it's out of the ordinary.
yeah, it is out of the ordinary, and I'm glad you concede as much. But how did you like? Why is journaling your food important?
Yes,
Why is it like important? And in case I'm not going to get that elaborate book like yours to
yeah,
journal everything that I eat, but I find it as a very mindful way of also just being intentional in terms of
mm,
what goes into your body.
right.
So tell us about journaling, and also tell us about between homemade food and eating out. you know
Yeah,
I know part of the journey on and being a dietitian, I know most of your food has to be prepped, and you probably do a better job preparing it yourself, or maybe having the wife prepare it or something. So are there compromises that had to come when you had to make food choices, because you have to say bye to the restaurants, or maybe once in a while you can go to a
yes,
restaurant once in a while? um
absolutely.
yeah, and also just that journaling in case I want to start small. Like I don't want to go like all in like you, but in case I want
Yeah,
to just be keep track of what's going into my body.
right. So I'm just making some notes here. So what I hear you saying is the journaling, homemade, eating out. So, journaling is like a mindful I meditate every day. Let's get that straight. So I take 10 minutes out of my morning after I work out. I take 10 minutes and I breathe and I meditate. That's been very important for guiding me. I've also started doing some journaling, but don't have that time. I'm not consistent with that. But the food logging is more of like a meditation, a mindful meditation for me, where I can sit down and I can understand, what is going in my body, what am I putting inside my mouth, and how that, and what I'm gonna do better. Because my constant thing is doing better. Every day I'm gonna do better. Hey, so that's where the journaling comes into play. You know, and it goes fast. I have systems that I put in place where I can, with clicks of a button, I could click it in my phone and then I transfer it. But that's just my quiet time and my way of just breathing and just internalizing everything I eat. And it might sound silly, but that's my jam. And some of you guys, that's might not, maybe writing reflecting on your day. I definitely recommend doing like some reflection. If you don't have the time to do that, I get it. There's apps that you can download that are free, that you can search for, that you can download, that if you want that accountability, if you want that. So that's the scoop on that. It's not as crystal clear as I don't know if that's an answer or what you want, but it's not crystal clear. Everyone is different. Everyone has their life. And I see that if you can really understand what you are doing, lack of better words, like what you're doing, what you're eating, and that it's your method. All right, and I'll leave it at that. So, eating out, it's challenging. A lot of restaurants in the United States now put their caloric intakes on their menus. Like you're going to be eating 1,200 calories. And I like that, because it's like, wow, that's more than a half of, and I'm not sure how it is around the world, but what I can tell you is that just doing my math in my head, I'm like, okay, you know what? That's more than half of my caloric intake for the day. Like I'm going to steer clear from that. I try to eat lighter meals, but also snacking. I'm doing a lot of snacking. I'm not really big of a protein kind of guy, because I was reading this one article and this research that's saying that if you do ingest a lot of protein, it's very hard on your kidneys. And there's some more research that are coming out. In the United States, we're really big on protein oatmeal, protein this, protein snacks, and people are getting, and this is research like from I've cited from like Mayo Clinic that I ran, John Hopkins, that people are getting 55% more. Wrote it down here, 55% more intake of protein than their allotted amount. We're just in a society where they're just pushing protein like crazy. But anyways, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. But you want to make good choices, and you want to make smaller choices. If I'm out, I know I will eat smaller meals, but I also have healthy snacks. I like a lot of like the nuts, the trail mix, the raisins. I like the beef jerky too, but I'm minimizing it. But I try to steer clear from the heavy meals, the processed foods, the trans fats. The lunch meat. We're really big on lunch meat sandwiches here. That processed meat is just horrible for you. And I try to keep it simple and to the point. If I can read the ingredients, if I can understand what it is, I'm gonna eat it. That goes for not only if I'm out of town, but if I'm in town. If I can't read what it is, I'm not gonna put it in my body. At least I'm gonna try not to put it in my body. And then I tried to take notes, but is that what you were asking me?
Yeah, no, I think it's well done. I think I just mixed myself up a bit by when I think I meant the food login as opposed to the journaling. But I think you've answered. I think you've just answered it the same way. Mama Rebecca, thank you so much for the raid. Classic hairstyle vlogs. Please enjoy your vacation and say hi to your husband for me. I hope you'll get time on Wednesday to pass by the panel briefly to say hi to the people during the soiree. Thank you so much, Classic. Thank you so much, Classic, for stopping by. And then I see Auntie Rebecca, thanks so much for the raid. Mama Rebecca, thanks so much for the raid. I really appreciate that. We are having Extreme Fitness Junkies, my co-host today. Guys, if you have not connected to Extreme Fitness, the link is still pinned up there on top of my chat. Make sure you're part of this beautiful community. When you're talking
Right.
about when you're talking about journaling, it's still shop for less. Thank you so much for coming in through the raid. Appreciate. Hey, today I've gotten like these are like 3 raids. I have never like flights are just landing in this Sunday service, and I'm so honored. I'm so honored that the flights are they've chosen to land here. Thank you. Um, One of the things I like when you talked about journaling, because it's also like now this gets us into a conversation around mindset, because
Mhm.
journaling is something you're getting into, and you talked about meditation as well, that every single day you do sit down in a moment of stillness to just like introspect. And this now starts a very ripe conversation between mental and physical health. Like, yes, you may look very great physically, but maybe mentally you are suffering, or maybe sometimes it can also be the other way around. But what I know is that when you invest so much in your physical health, it also improves the mental health. Like, there's a shift in terms of how you approach things, in terms of how you look at things. You have a mindset that you propose, the live, learn, and love way. What does this mean in a practical, everyday kind of lifestyle? Live, learn,
Absolutely.
and love. Yeah.
So live, learn, and love. I'm a lifelong learner, and I, you know, I live my life. I'm not going to deprive myself of, foods. I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to eat, that X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to eat all that. I learn from my mistakes. I get comfortable being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. I my fitness journey is grounded on loving myself and loving others and getting the support I need from my family and
Mm.
friends. I really, really appreciate the comments that come in. Um, and then there's comments that aren't nice. But I use those comments to generate that learning and that love and moving forward, because as you guys know, sometimes on social media there's people that don't write such good things. um,
Mm.
one of my the live, learn, love comes one of my favorite Navy SEAL authors, retired Navy SEAL David Goggins. He is one of my role models. And what I tell you a quick story. Well, he's on social media, and there's people that would post things that aren't right, but he would take those posts and he would make himself like a soundtrack of people recording themselves of all that, and he would turn that into love and push himself to be a better person, and to those naysayers get all that in and just
Yeah.
push yourself. So it sounds kind of weird, but he really has a point to that. You're learning every day. You're getting ideas from other people, and I mean I'm on the journey every day. This one chart over here I got from my good friend from high school. He sent that to me. I have quite a few here. I'll take one out. There we go. All right. So I got one here. These are a whole bunch. Look at that.
Oh,
This is
wow.
this is the whole year. This is my 12 months. This was 2022. This was
Mm. I like the
2023.
color. Mm.
Uh, S would be sick, but every day that I colored in, I worked out. So that's love. That was sent to me from a friend, Eric. I don't think he's on there. He's on his journey too with exercising. He's one of my friends from high school. I want to give him a shout out. But I use those things. Those are things that the people around me. That you're living, you're learning, and you're loving, and every day is a new day.
Love that.
Yeah.
You have I think there's somebody on your chat. I don't know that I'm going to butcher the name. M. Lair saying
Yeah,
great.
that's my mom. Hey, appreciate you,
Oh,
mom. I love
say hi to her.
you.
I'm going to ask, Mom, how much have you heard? Your son said something at the beginning of the live stream. How long have you been around? Just check. He reported himself.
I'm sure. I hope
Uh,
she's been watching. I hope you've been on for a while, or else I'll get it tonight.
Wow. Your mom is on your live stream. That is so beautiful. That is so
Yeah,
beautiful. Your mom,
yeah.
the entire
That's
family
the
is there.
support. That's the family support that I'm talking
Wow.
about. I'm blessed with, with my family and my friend. I don't have, I have a tight inner circle of friends. But my family, as an Italian American, I just want to say that, we as Italians, we come together, we support each other with culture and family. And that's one of my big thing. I wouldn't be here without that. So I want to give a shout out to them. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much, mom, for stopping by. It's such an honor, and I'm so honored that you dropped in by the show just to support Tony. He's doing an amazing job. He's doing an amazing job being here,
Thank you.
giving us all these insights. Um, People get setbacks, and you talked about it. You say that it is okay sometimes to sleep. It is okay sometimes to sometimes, yeah, sometimes life happens. Sometimes maybe things get busy. Sometimes you
Yep.
have to attend to the boys,
Life
and
happens.
yeah, life is always happening, and sometimes life is always life, as my friend Kay will say. um how do you encourage people, especially those people you work with, especially your clients? How do you encourage them to be kind to themselves, especially during setbacks? There are people get a setback and they feel like it is a failure, an extreme failure on
Mm.
their part. But sometimes a setback is just to like propel you to, to grow further or something like that. But how do you encourage, in your experience, how do you encourage people like sometimes not being kind to themselves and they view a setback as an
Hmm.
extreme failure? Yeah.
Absolutely. I've read a lot of books. Like I said, I ground my practice in like the U.S. Armed Forces. The Navy SEAL is one. I read a lot of books with just that withedness. That's what I call it. But your setbacks, your challenges are your greatest learning opportunities. And I tell my clients that challenges are your greatest learning opportunities, and setbacks. You need to learn from that setback. And you need to pick yourself back up. I, for one, fitness, I call it the VUCA world, VUCA. And that's another, I live with acronyms as my job puts me, but VUCA is, if I can remember, volatility, which is physical consistency in unstable times. So let me put that in the play. So, you're consistent, you're going through an injury, you have a setback, but you're consistent. Hey, I hurt my knee, but I'm still going to be doing some upper arms, right? I'm consistent. Uncertainty, confidence through preparedness. So you're uncertain what you're doing. You learn. You look at your newspaper. You look at books. You look at magazines. You do some AI researching. Complexity, is the C. It's I have it written down here. Complexity, simplifying through structured routines. You have a log, you have a plan. As I mentioned in the first part of our segment, you have a plan. And finally, ambiguity, trusting physical and mental intuition under unclear conditions. So, again, if you have a setback, that VUCA, VUCA, and you can Google that, it gives you more information. Um, it's a ritual that you do to learn from your mistakes and do better. Maya Angelou, one of my greatest authors, know more, do better, and I've said that before. I've had really bad setbacks from torn muscles, physical pain that I've endured, where I have to take time off my journey, take time off.
Mm.
But I'm not going to just throw in the towel. I'm going to, well, I can't work out today, or I need to give my body a rest. Then I'm going to, alternate what I eat. I got to make sure, but I'm still keeping in that mode of that VUCA mindset. So, yeah.
I like that. Eric, welcome. Just a yogi doing burpees in his basement. He's so excited to be here. Two of my favorite people are here.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Eric, thank you.
supporter of mine. I'm sorry to cut you off, interrupt you, Goga, but
No, by all means.
he has really Yogi has really inspired me as well. Every time I go on there, he makes me feel so special, and he's always he's shouting me out, shouting my page out. I just want to shout him out and spotlight him. That positive mental fortitude has come from you, brother, and I appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. It means a lot.
Thank you, Eric. And Eric is a respected channel member of mine, and I'm so
Small
honored to.
world.
Yeah, and I'm so honored to have him here. He's always, I always go to his live stream because I think I've made a lot of friends in his community, and he's always cracking jokes there like crazy. I think I'm the one person I'm never like serious on Eric's chat. I'm always just seeing the jokes because
Yes.
I like seeing the subtleties in a chat, and I enjoy that. So thank you so much, brother Eric McCarthy. I really appreciate you stopping by here. David Hunt, welcome, David Hunt. And then, hey, Tony, your mom is giving us like a
Hey,
shout out.
yeah. So we're approved. We're good. Whew.
Yeah, your mom says we both rock. Yeah, your mom says we both rock. Your mom says we both rock. Thanks so much, mom. That is the mother to Tony, guys. Tony's family is literally watching this the Sunday
They
service.
are. They all
Tony's family
happy
is
for
watching the
me.
Sunday service. And then Rebecca Prince is watching us from London. Says, "I learn from our mistakes." Yes, the book
100%.
mindset. I think I love that. She just resonating with what you're saying. And then TK says, "I once did a 30-day workout schedule, and on the last 7 days, I went through a mental breakdown and I
Mm,
couldn't finish my set goal. And that broke me so much
yes.
and I just never went back to exercising."
Mm,
Tony, that's a very powerful statement. And
that is a very powerful.
I'm sure
Appreciate
you
you
do.
sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, TK, for sharing. That's like deep.
Yeah.
That's really deep. And we are going to hold space for you. Tony, how do you address this? Because I'm sure you get this kind of
Hmm.
things every single time. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, thanks again for sharing that. Yes, and I feel like mental headspace is 90% of the fitness journey, and if you're not locked in mentally, forget about it. And what are some of the ways that you can do that? And my vehicle, my way of getting in there is the meditation. I'm still not a pro at it. I do the 10 minutes a day, the sit for 10 minutes, but the brain constantly keeps thinking and just grounding yourself. So, you know, I honestly feel like, when that situation happens, you need to really sit down and you need to really understand that, hey, yeah, I messed up, you couldn't finish it. But like a lot of these challenges that I've done, there's that I've done, there's some that I have not finished and I've been down in the dumps. But you know what, you could finish a couple days after. If you hit a speed bump, as I call it, an injury, get back up. Because you getting down on yourself, that's not going to help. And I can just talk at you. I hear you, man. I hear you. But the write it down, make yourself a goal, get back up there, make a plan, and do what you got to do. And if it has to be where you need to get more formal support and some formal help, then do it. But I've been in those trenches, and I hear you. But it's a journey, and that's why I tell myself it's a journey. It's a journey. We all have our stories to tell, and we all have our journeys, and you just keep on plowing, brother, and you keep at 100.
I love that. You have some amazing reactions coming in through the chat, and thank you so much, TK, for sharing that.
Yeah.
And then Mama Rebecca Prince is like green. Yes, to catch up on routine, even when we are not feeling well, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Because usually, I noticed that sometimes because nowadays I change jobs this year. And sometimes I come from work and I'm so tired, and I know I have to put in my yoga practice even for
Yes.
30 minutes. And then I'm just like, I don't want to do it. And the moment I just roll my mat and I just start,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of just, you just get on with it. I'm like, okay, I might as well just finish it.
Right.
So,
I want to
yeah,
say something about that really quick.
yeah.
Mama Rebecca LaPrince, thank you so much. And you're probably not going to hear this from a personal trainer. Every day I get up because I have two small children. I get up around 3:45, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I get downstairs. I come down here and I pump it out. There's that little voice in my head. Oh, come on, take a day off. Oh, you got, you could take a break. You got to push yourself, and there's times. Don't get me wrong. There's times you're sick. Your body needs that regroup. You're sick. You take that time, but every single day, my mind always tells me, "Oh, come on, short it a little bit. You could walk a little, if I'm doing my running exercise. Oh, you could walk a little. Oh, let's do 3 sets of 10 instead of 3 sets of 15. No, you got to push yourself. That's why I write everything down. And it may sound a little ludicrous, but I write everything down because you're accountable. And that accountability piece of most of my clients, they have a hard time digesting as being accountable for, for what they do. Because you can go into the gym and say, yeah, I'm going to do chest press. I'm going to do, I'm going to do a leg press, and I'm doing it. And then you see your best friend over there and you start talking, and then what happens? So if you have accountability, you have a roadmap, you have a plan, and I'm not saying you need to go into the gym with this book, but you can have it on your phone, you can have it somewhere, but you have to be accountable. And one day turns into 2 days, 2 days turns into a week, weeks turn into months, months turn into a year.
And it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
David Ant is asking a question about okra. When it comes, okay, let me ask you, what is your favorite meal? Like, what is like your favorite meal? Like food. It can be anything. It can be, of course, don't say pasta. Because
Growing up, we had pasta every single day, and I still don't know how I did that. It's amazing. I love pasta, but we have pasta every single day. Different kinds of pasta.
Yeah. So what is your favorite meal? Like like the meal that if you are to prepare, like it literally just comes naturally in case you have to fix that meal.
Okay.
You're hungry.
So
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
yeah, I don't really necessarily have a favorite meal. I eat a lot of chicken. I eat a lot of poultry. So like I like baked chicken, and I like rice. And I like to, having things that are natural from the garden, whether it's anything with like a tomato, like a fresh salad with a tomato, like the chicken, I spice it up. I put chicken on a salad. So things I like eating a lot of greens. I like eating a lot of spinach. I like eating a lot of like salads. And I also have my own garden too. And if you guys go on please subscribe. That's another reason why you should subscribe. I started tomatoes this year by seeds. I have special yellow tomatoes I'm doing this year. And so I like a variety of foods. I'd probably say like I like eggplant parmigiana, but there's just a variety of foods that I like. I don't have one, but I like to say the chicken is probably fish and meat. Probably those are the three pinnacles, the chicken, the fish, and meat. And I do those on rotate. And I get fancy with them, but still staying natural with them because I like to cook as well.
Because you mentioned gardening, in the Sunday at the Sunday service, we usually have a segment called the okra question.
Okay.
So this is a question that is designated just for one person on the live stream. It's called David Hunt.
Okay.
David, first of all, before I ask Tony this question, David, can you go and ask this question on his live stream? Get out of my live stream and go and type it on his chat because the link is literally up there. We said all these questions that you always want to ask the guests, you go and type it on their live stream. Otherwise, I will pretend I've not seen it. Go and type the question on his live stream. Then I will know you have connected to him. Now, speaking of your garden, Tony, David is asking you a question here that is very interesting. Of course, I'm just trying to make his life a bit difficult. Susie Global Concepts, welcome. So David is asking you about okra. What is your take on okra? Is it part of your regimen in addition to other vegetables?
Yeah, I've seen okra, but I've never tried okra. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never tried okra. So that's the scoop on that.
Just a clarification. You've never tried it, but it's not like you have anything. You have nothing against it, right?
No, nothing against it. I'd be open to, but I've seen it. I know what it looks like, but I've never tried it.
David, yeah, he has answered. David, he has answered, and take that as that is a very diplomatic answer, and I think it is an answer. We have an answer, David, and I think I won this one. He said he's open to it. It's just that he has never had it. David, let it go. Don't come and gloat and start sending me. So the problem is David is coming from church right now. He's going to record a video. Like anytime, like a guest at the Sunday service says that they don't like okra. David records a video and then sends it to me on WhatsApp, gloating. Like, and I'm always like, David, why are you like this? You just came from church. What's wrong with you? He's like, your guest does not like okra. I'm like, anyway, that was the okra question, guys. We always have to ask the okra question because of David.
Nice.
Because of David, and it's a great conversation. Talk to us about your garden. What does that look
Yeah.
like?
Oh, yeah.
Before you just give people something to look forward to when they come to your channel, as we start winding out down on the questions.
Absolutely. And I can go for a little longer. Now I'm having a great time here.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
No, just
So,
checking that I wanted to honor your time. So
right. Yeah, we can go ahead. I don't hear the kids upstairs. I think everything's in good control, so we're good. So, I like to be self-sufficient. I do a lot of reading of literature. I do a lot of research, and ever since growing up with my grandfather and my grandmother, who are Italian immigrants, we prize ourselves on a vegetable garden. And now that I'm older, I've been doing my gardening since I was a little boy, and I've learned the different Italian rituals we do for gardening. So I plant a lot of different vegetables, and what I do with those vegetables too is I harvest them. So, like, for instance, the tomatoes, I actually made 10 jars of tomato sauce. I've canned my own tomatoes, and I use those with my cooking. So we also do a lot of planting with fruit trees. I have a small orchard. I have a bunch of peach trees, apple trees, plum trees. I've also been inspired by Odom. He's another one, a YouTuber that I want to just shout out. I don't think he's here today, but he does a lot of the gardening and things. Yeah, so I plant eggplants. There's different types of eggplants. There's a different Italian vegetables that I grow. We just got our fava beans growing. I plant all kinds of beans, corn. What else do I plant? So I plant all a variety of stuff, and I cook that, and my children love eating gardening, and I feel like it's not only a fitness kind of thing, because you have the farmer workouts that I do, but also having that mentality of that mindfulness. That's another piece to the gardening, is that mindfulness where I'm out in nature and I'm hearing the birds chirp, I'm hearing the wind chimes. I mean, that's where it all starts, is being outside and just being in the fresh air and just enjoying, and then reaping the fruit of my looms. Yeah,
I love that. And you have a very Mama Rebecca Prince is actually saying that, oh wow, he's a green lover just like Kisha. Yeah, Kisha was our guest at the Sunday service last week, and yeah, she was talking about gardening and a host of other things. And then Miss V is watching you from New York. He's saying, I like all Italian dishes. I like all it. You're going to make Tony's mom so happy, because Tony's mom is watching the live stream. So I think Tony's mom is very excited that, when she sees that. I like all Italian dishes. And then Natural Vibes with TK says, great response and advice to my question. Thank you, Tony and Goga. I'm glad that don't worry. I like what Tony said. Give yourself the grace to reset and get back to your practice. And then he says, great information you guys are giving us today. I'm honored to be part of this live stream. The Sunday service is always like a melting pot of inspiration, and I'm glad that you're getting it. You do have another question here by Mama Rebecca. I'm saying, do you have your coaching fitness plan online? And this is a good question, Tony, because I also want you to talk to us again about what happens what are you doing on Spotify? Because I did notice that you have Spotify going on there. What do you do on Facebook? What do you do on Instagram? Because I see a lot of activities there around your extreme fitness junkies. This can be a great way to also one thing I like with the Sunday service participants, they always help me ask questions, so it becomes so easy in case I'd forgotten something. Yeah, so at least I end up having that holistic answer from the guests. So please take it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't per se have a coaching plan. A lot of personal trainers sit down with you and they try to carve something out, and they try to get you into, you know, these routines, I call them, which are sometimes are good routines, sometimes aren't. But you need to develop that coaching plan. And what I mean by that is you need to sit down, and I can give you templates, I can give you strategies and structures, but ultimately you have to be making that, because it's all about ownership, right? You have to own your plan, and you have to live it, breathe it, and work on it. And it's ever changing. So if you subscribe to my channel, I go ahead and you know, we spotlight different foods, and a lot of the different clients that I have, like that they have the freedom of like learning, like constantly learning about different foods and developing their own plan. But definitely I can hook you up with some like templates or some different road, I call them like guidance, like a roadmap for you to start your journey. But essentially I'm not the one who's doing, you are. And then Goga, you were saying something about Spotify and Facebook. So Facebook, I do a lot of memes on Facebook, a lot of like different tricks, tips, and fast fitness lures that I call them. And just, it's really fast. People are scrolling, and it could be something on, hey, did you know your total, how much calcium, you know, a glass of milk has. Some, and I like to educate people on facts. So you're going to see a lot of that on Facebook. I don't necessarily go live on Facebook. That's more YouTube. I also do a lot on Instagram with my friend that I do. I'm trying to, Mamiko, she's a professional yoga instructor. We do a lot of with yoga and mindfulness, but again, a lot of those kinds of memes. But more of me interacting and like just zeroing in on products would probably be the YouTube that we do. But definitely, I spotlight different foods, from like snacks. I do shorts on like foods, like dinners, meal preps, things of that nature. So that's all used to inspire people, to inspire and get, oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and I like that salad. You know, he had that salad. He didn't use the salad dressing. He used the vinegar and oil, olive oil, and then he put some oregano on there. That's a great idea. So things like that, I want to get and help people out. But yeah, no.
I love it. I hope that has, I hope that has, you guys are getting so excited about the gardening question. So yes, Tony is going to add okra into his garden for sure.
Absolutely. I would love to try it. We fry that up. How do you guys help me?
I will. I can send Crooked Peach to you, because Crooked Peach has okra in her garden, so I'm sure she can give
nice.
it.
Please subscribe.
Yeah, I'll send Crooked Peach to come and give.
Connect.
Crooked Peach, I know you're watching me from the bushes. Peach, Tony wants to plant okra in his garden, so let's make it happen. Yeah. I have to. Anytime I win this war against David because of okra, I get so excited. But
Love it. Love it.
This one is a tie today. So David, I'm not going to gloat. I've not won. It's just that Tony said that he's open to it. So none of us has won this one. So let's just treat it as a tie, David. Let's leave it as a tie. Let me see what you guys are saying on the chat. I think I've answered that. Tony is really good at picking these questions like really quick. Thank you so much for this. AJ New Dimensions, welcome.
Appreciate
AJ New
that.
Welcome. Thank you so much, AJ New Dimensions. There's a question on and I think you just talked about this in terms of you falling to meditation and also just trying to journal to be able to like also just get it's like calling yourself for a meeting of sorts.
Grounding.
Yeah, grounding. That's the word. Tony, when did you like transition from being you started this fitness journey in 2016, but now you are a trainer. When did you make that shift that you actually now wanted to help people like embrace their a healthier life, and also just to add these wellness practices in their life? The reason I'm asking this is because I started yoga in 2017. It took me 2 years to become a yoga instructor. And I remember when I decided to become a yoga instructor, it wasn't even for anybody. It was for myself. I was like, let me go get the best training so that I don't, because I used to get a lot of injuries. And
Mm-hmm.
then I realized I was not being properly trained.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I don't want to be getting injuries. So I said, let me go get the training so that I can help myself to avoid injuries. And to be honest, it was a very great training. So I went to India, packed my bags, went to India,
That's
did
terrific.
got the training. The Indians are not soft. Let me tell you, they were very rough and hard on me, but they gave me the best training. So when I came
Yeah.
back, I was very mindful even in how I approach yoga postures, even how guide myself through routines. And then one day, a spark just lit. Somebody just asked me, you tend to be very intentional. Even when the teacher is saying something, you tend to be doing like something very differently. And like it's because I'm preventing an injury because I've gotten this in the past. Then I made the decision to now start instructing, which I've been doing for the last since 2019. I've slowed down a bit because of a day job, and I'm sure you can relate having a day job and having
100%, brother. 100%.
yeah. So how did you make the shift
Yeah.
from being somebody who just like is going to the gym, but you also now want to train people to do it?
Right. I would think that synergy to give me that switch was probably, doing a lot of reading, looking at like a lot of like the journals that are published, the medical journals, but more of like looking at my inner circle and just, like family and, people that are can prevent these diseases, like and obesity, and just looking right in front lines, like, my family and helping my family out. I think that really made one of my switches, especially like I want to say 2019 would probably be the year the COVID pandemic hit. That's when I started being more intentional of what I was doing, reading. Got my personal trainer and dietitian certification through NASM, and just um, getting that more involved in how I can be one of those advocates for people, and being that catalyst for change. Also, using the injuries. I've been there. I've been out many times, and it's like getting back at it. You crawl up the wall and then you fall back down. But mental tools from gym to life, I call them. And I have some notes here. Using pain, exhaustion, and discipline for training. And then just getting those gym habits into leadership, parenting, careers that I have. I have a full-time job. This is not my full-time job. And then just how physical breakthroughs can lead to that mindset shift of, I want to do better. I want to help people. I want to do good. And if I can help somebody with all my knowledge, hey, I'm going to be a happier person. It feels good in my heart. That's why I did it. I know, like I said, it sounds cliche, but I want to make a difference in this world, and that goes to my job and what I do full time, but also on the side hustle that I call it, that's getting big. But I just keep on picking it up, and just one life at a time, as they call it. Yeah.
I like that one life at a time. And Thrive and Glow with Joy is saying training is definitely therapy for
Yeah.
me.
There's research on that.
Yeah,
A lot of
like
research.
and that it's very important to try and help our loved ones.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And then that comes now the big question: why YouTube? Why did you get yourself on this platform? I know you are not very big on YouTube. I think it was either early last year or late last year when we met.
Not at all.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
not very big on YouTube, and then
No, I'm learning so much.
yeah,
Just when we met before this Sunday service, you asked me for checking something, and I'm like, whoa, what am I doing? I need some help. um you know so just figuring things out.
do you need a break or something? I noticed you're a bit
No,
distracted.
no, give me 1 second.
Okay, cool.
I,
Thank you
I
so much, guys. Once again, if you've not connected to Tony, the link is pinned up there on top of the chat. Please click on that link and then join his live stream on the other side. Make sure you've given him a thumbs up and put those nice orange hearts. Put those
Say
nice
hi,
orange.
everybody. Say hi.
Yeah.
Okay, my friends,
Hey, wait,
my
who's saying
guys,
hi? Who's saying Tony? Who's
say
saying hi?
hi.
Oh,
Okay. That's
hi.
my junior. Okay. Okay. So she's gonna take him out. Okay. I'm so sorry, but again, life happens. That's a perfect
I love that. I
example.
love that, and
That's
we
a
always
perfect
welcome
example,
that.
and you
We always
embrace
welcome
that.
that at the Sunday service because it's nice. You're
Yeah.
like you're home, and the boys are there. So
Absolutely. And I'm grateful, and that's the thing, like I'm working out in the mornings, and sometimes Junior comes down and he's pulling on the resistant bands, he's trying, and I'm like, hey, it's okay, turn that light on, turn that light on. So that's life, and you have to adapt to those, because if
yeah,
you're a person saying you're so rigid, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm gonna do, you're not gonna it's not gonna work for you. But it's a balance, because you can't be too rigid, but you can't be too soft, because if you're too soft, then you will fall, and you have to really pick up and be the best you can be. But please repeat that one question, that your last
YouTube,
question.
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, why YouTube? So, you know, um, I was really big in Facebook. I was it was 600, 600 so guests. I had subscribers on Facebook, but it hit a plateau, and the people weren't really interacting, and it kind of hit a standstill. I do a lot of stuff on Facebook, like scheduled posts. People like a lot of memes, but
Mm,
I feel like my people around me, my circle around me, Sorel, Mish, yourself, there are different people that I've connected with that really have inspired me. I want to just give a shout out to the Filipino community. I've joined a lot of their lives, as well. They've really um, given me. There's Green Winner. There's quite a few of them. I can't think off the top of my head, but that have just supported me with followers, and I think that it all falls into place. Like my subscribers, once I hit 50, 60, 100, and then I was at 500. I was like, wow, 1,000. You know, the, you know, the village is another one. There's just so many different people. Kuya. I mean, there's people all around the world, and I'm like, wow, the possibilities of just putting out my product. And I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to sell merch. I'm not here to make. It'd be nice if I'm monetized. I mean, that's something I'm looking for, but it's not really something that I just want to be a better person, and I want to
mm,
do good things.
I like that. Would you say that at least it also helps you share your message?
Yeah,
As somebody who is like really big on fitness and wellness, has it been a great platform just to also just share that message?
yeah. But yeah, it's neat. It's like how we could connect. Like you're in Africa. I mean, I talk to people in Philippines, in
Yes.
Alaska. I mean, the world's there's endless possibilities. Yeah, and I'm
All right.
learning as well. I'm getting ideas as well. Yeah.
I like that. Guys, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them on the chat before we release. I'm seeing the boys are now back and stuff, so I know I need to release. Daddy has already been with me for 2 hours, and
Yeah.
I'm really honored because he has exceeded. He has really gone, over and beyond the time, and I'm so honored that at least he has spared us that extreme, that extra time just to be able to have this conversation with us. But Tony, just before we wind down, one of the things that maybe somebody may be struggling with, you have a busy schedule. You're an educator. I work in policy, and sometimes life gets busy. You have to sometimes I'm seated in meetings.
Pivot. Pivot. Yeah.
that are dragging for so long. Sometimes you have something to do with the kids in school, and it's a school environment. It comes with its own set of pressures. Sometimes maybe you have to take kids on a trip somewhere. What are like some of your time saving tips, especially for staying healthy when you have a busy schedule? For me, one of the things I've struggled with, sometimes I want to wake up maybe. I've always said that, oh, maybe I should wake up like at 4, and then get it out of the way. That is a myth because I'm definitely not a morning person. I struggle in the morning, so I don't even do workouts in the morning. I do them in the evening after work. But sometimes the time catches up with you, and life is just so busy sometimes. What are some of like your tips just to be able to like ensure we are living this healthy lifestyle that you have chosen, even when there's a time constraint? Sometimes you see the boys are now back. It's Sunday. It's Sunday afternoon. You need to like get some time with the boys because
Yeah.
tomorrow you're back. Tomorrow you're back
Back
to
at
work.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few things. For healthy tips, creativity is one of them. If I know that I have a jam-packed schedule, I'm going to start working out first thing in the morning. I always get up around, from anywhere from 3:45 to 4:30 in the morning, because when I get home, I'm educated all day, but then when I come home, I got to switch gears and be with my two boys and my wife, and then helping out, getting them to bed, and then you're tired. So there's some things that I do, and I know it sounds silly, but if you use the stairs, if you're gonna be walking, you're gonna use the stairs instead of taking an elevator. You park far away. That's some things. I take lunch walks, and that's one of the things I started on one of my coworkers
Nice.
about 5 years ago. I go outside, and there's so much, again, literature. There's so much research that I ground myself in. A lunch walk, 10-minute walk around around the perimeter of where I work, rejuvenate, breathe, and get back at it for second half. I do a lot of that. The walking. I also do something called a dinner walk too. If I don't have time to do my cardio, like my intensive cardio, I do the lunch walk during lunch, and then dinner walk is literally 10 minutes around the house, around the block, and I get that activity. I also have the fitness tracker that really helps me stay grounded as well, and helping me stay healthy when I am busy. I'm trying to think of other things, but eating healthy, making good choices, and just I do a lot of reading as well. And some days don't have reading, but even on the drive to work, I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yes.
A lot of, like I said, I love the armed forces, and that has really been one of my inspirations, like the Navy SEALs. Jocko Willink is one of my good. David Goggins, Joe Rogan is not really in the forces, but and you take that with a grain of salt. It's a motivation, but I don't listen to everything, but it's a way that helps me create that energy to continue my journey, because there's days that I don't get home for 12 hours.
Yeah.
There's days that I'm doing other stuff, but I make time in different ways to do what I need to do, because I know that that's my love, my passion.
Like that. That is
Yeah.
my love, my passion. I don't see any question that stands out on the chat. Just some amazing compliments coming through.
Thank you.
Mary Ellie says, "Thank you so much, Extreme." I really like that. These people are just listening and they're taking notes. Thank you so much. That is from Mary Ellie's unique
you.
vlog. And Mary Ellis is also on her way to 500 subscribers. And I think keep pushing, Marie, not Mary, Marie Ellis, keep pushing, and we're going to get you there.
Appreciate that.
Miss V says, that's the power of YouTube. It reaches all parts of the world and connects people from all parts of the world. That's true. I wouldn't have known XFJ had it not been for YouTube and the platform and all the connections and community we are building here. So that's an amazing thing. That's an amazing thing that we are learning. It's an amazing thing that we are learning.
Yeah, Miss V, I want to say, I want to give her a shout out too, because I actually, if there's something that I need to do, like a workout that I'm not sure of, I go into YouTube. If it's DIY, if I need to do something around the house, YouTube. So it reaches all parts of the world. It connects people. I like that a lot. Thank you for sharing.
Perfect. Right. Don't worry, XFJ. I'm almost done.
Oh, no, take your time. I think the boys went for a nap. You were good. You're good.
So a few just quick fire questions. These ones are normally just to just to trigger. It's not like a trick question or anything. So I normally just like to trigger a few things before we get to the final thoughts, and in case of there anything that I may have missed that you may want to capture from your notes or something. Number one, What is the one fitness myth you'd love XFJ to bust? One myth about fitness that XFJ can bust. Just like some rapid, quick fire questions.
Yeah. One fitness myth, I want to say that fast and easy fitness and results. Fast, easy results. Yeah, there's no such thing as that fast, easy results.
So
It's
in
called,
short,
it's called don't be lazy.
I'm not getting a six pack tomorrow in case my one pack is here today. Okay,
No,
just checking,
not at
Get the
all.
okay. Number two, um, what do you struggle more with as Tony? Either on fitness, is it fitness itself, or food itself? Because I know you have made a decision around both sides of the divide. But what do you struggle more with as Tony?
Food, 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 food.
Spoken like a real Italian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mangiare means to eat. Mangiare. A lot of food. Eat. Oh, it's the worst. Every day I struggle on food choices. It's not one day that goes by.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. I'm very curious. Like, I'll ask it before you leave. I'll ask it before you leave because your mom is watching. So I'll ask it when so that she can hear what you think about it. So you talked about that food. Your favorite workout song?
Mm.
You
My
said
my favorite workout song.
favorite
Um,
workout
I
song.
want to say I don't have a favorite, but I probably say ACDC Back in Black.
Oh, good, powerful choice. Powerful choice. Post workout meal, if any.
Post workout meal, probably I want to say smoothie.
Oh, what kind of smoothie?
I like do like fruit infused smoothie. Like I do some oatmeal, and then I do a blend of like strawberries, bananas, apples. I don't really necessarily use whey protein, like I said before. We get enough protein in what we eat. We don't need to, but just a natural smoothie is good. But spinach, I call it green monster. If you go on one of my shorts, I see it. I do
Spinach.
it with a special swirl on top. And it's custom. Yeah, yeah.
All right. This is us, and what we do is saying, Mr. President and Extreme Fitness
Oh,
Junkies.
thank
Yay!
you.
Nice to see you. This is the person who made us get to know each other. So shout out to this is us and what we do for making this connection happen. The next question I'm going to ask is not rapid fire, but I want to know what is going on behind you.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff there. There's,
Stuff.
I think,
Yeah,
charts and
stuff.
things. Maybe just walk us through what is up. Just put you on a full layout so that people can see your background.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff here. So this is my. I'm really sound on research and doing things. So these are just exercises from health books like Men's Health. Um, you know, I have. This is my current calendar of my workout. So this is every day. Like I work out, I color in one of the different months. This is my wife painted that, so like that's my
Oh,
inspiration.
nice! It's
Yeah,
so
she
good.
painted that.
Maggie did an amazing job
Yeah,
there.
shout out to Maggie. Um, Also, as we turn here, let me get out of the way. I have all my resistant bands. I have my jump rope. I have the kids' jump rope here. Sometimes junior resistance band, more resistant bands. And then I'm gonna try to pan over there. I have like little certificates and stuff of
Oh,
medals and stuff
wow!
from
Yeah.
when I participate. I do a lot of things for like American Red Cross, American Health Association,
Nice.
American Heart Association, American Red Cross, Diabetes Awareness, Soldiers Suicide, Prostate Cancer Foundation. So I do a lot of stuff. Like you see on Facebook, they have like these charity events that they do, and then you do like 30 miles in the month of November. And going back to that one person, I forget his name. I'm so sorry that you tuned in, but I didn't make the 30-day challenge, and I was in the dumps like you, but I actually went over the next month and got it done. So yeah,
That was TK.
TK, yeah. So life happens, but I didn't stop. But yeah, I do a lot of work with resistant bands. Resistant bands, I feel are so much, they're less expensive. You can replace them, but you can do so much work and just have so much creativity with resistant bands. And if you're traveling, if you're out of town, you can pack these in a suitcase. I also have a core board too that I use. And there's a lot of, I stick to a lot of the core exercise, the planks, I said, the sit-ups, the push-ups. You want to have a healthy core. So that's like my little collage. I have it all over. I have more collages here.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
and I use that to plan. So I use all that to plan. I get my fingers out of here. I use that to plan. I also have a boxing. I don't have the room for it, but one last thing I want to show you is just like a little boxing machine that I have. I can't do it that hard in the morning because you're punching. I don't want to wake everyone up, but it lights up and this is really good for coordination,
Nice.
for mental coordination. I love boxing. I don't have room to get a punching bag here. I would love one, but this is like my punching bag.
So Tony, I'm a boy, so I'm just you just put up a toy there, and I'm just like wondering how it works. Can we like just test it just for the thrill?
Oh
Just,
yeah.
just
So you turn it on, and then you actually and you can set the, and then you go on up, and you go, and it double backs.
so when it lights up, you just okay.
Yeah, that's that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really cool. Yeah, and it's Velcro. You stick it to the wall. But the thing is, my wife's like, you got to go easy because I spar too hard and I mix vibrations.
Nice.
But yeah, it's good.
Kisha says, wow, he's very organized with his
I
training.
try.
He's very organized with his
Yeah, and we
training.
got Junior. He's got a little punching bag here. But I want to show you one last thing, and then so I got this too. It's called a core board. I don't know if you guys have seen something like this. So this is pretty good because it works back,
This,
shoulders,
this,
triceps, and chest.
this will get us a six pack, right?
Yeah, exactly. you plug that into the coordinated colors and you can get creative on it. So this is something that, if you're traveling, you just fold it up. I use this for my warm-ups. And there's also like a resistant bands, as you can do arms as well. So things like that, but all about creativity. I make it fun. I make it interesting, and I make it, what I want it. And I use different things to build exercise, different research, something I saw in Men's Health, something, I saw on YouTube, something I use from AI. And it's like a soup, you put it all together and you eat. Yeah.
Oh, cool. A core board. I like that.
Yeah,
You get
core
it
board.
those.
That's what I call it. It's a hot wave core board. Yep.
How much investment goes into your personal space? Like what you're just taking us through.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, how much do you spend? Okay, I don't even know that. I don't. It doesn't need to be specific, but
Yeah.
is it like a substantial investment in terms of that
No,
space?
no. I got a lot of stuff that like my wife has given me for Christmas, or my mom's friend has given me a bench from like the 1970s. I shined it up. I put it together. We bought a treadmill. But a little this and that. I got some uneven. I got a kettlebell. I got a green kettlebell. I got red weights. I got blue weights. I mean, I make it work. Whatever it takes, I make it work. Yeah.
Right.
So
I like that. Elsie Knight, welcome, Elsie. Guys, if you have not connected to Tony, Tony is the link that is pinned on top of the chat. I know you guys are now thrilled. You are enjoying looking at his toys there. Yes. I like how people are saying. Natural says, "Wow, nice gym toys. They are very portable.
thank you.
But then Mish is telling you, but buy the match when it comes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Buy the match when it comes." Then Simone was telling you, well done, Tori. Well done, Extreme Fitness. Well done. Yes, if you're not connected to Extreme Fitness Junkies, it is a link that is pinned on top of my chat before we let him go shortly. Make sure you have connected to him and make sure you are dropping those orange hearts to confirm that you're connected to him. Extreme. The final questions I want to just ask you are more of the future. You know, they're more of the future when you look at your crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and before I ask maybe the future question, you just mentioned something that triggered my brain in terms of the causes you are normally involved with. You know, you mentioned the Red Cross, you mentioned a number of initiatives here. There's a particular picture here. I don't know what is going on. Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So is this one of those courses? And
Yeah.
yeah, talk to us about these courses. How do you select the courses to participate in? And what kind of initiatives are these that you participate in?
Right. So this was at Chicago Executive Airport. It's an airport in Chicago that I ran a 5K marathon in a 5K, and
Nice.
it supported children with scholarships, at-risk children with scholarships. There's actually the race is coming up June 28th. This was last year in 2024. That's my son Junior. He came to cheer me on. But I
Nice.
did that was that's what it's all about. My training every day goes into those the races. I ran I believe it was like an 8:31 mile on that race, and I came in I believe it was like 8th or 10th in my age group. So that is a huge motivator for me. With all my, like, that's like a culmination. You did it so good, Goga. That's a culmination of me being, what I work for. This is what I live for, and that is a race right there. I got a medal that I have it at work on my board at work. But it's just that's what, that's where I'm going. That's my drive. Yeah, appreciate
I
that.
love that. I love that. You're also big on affirmations. I see this because I follow your page on Facebook, and
Yes.
every time I log onto my Facebook, I see all these affirmations, encouragements, and things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Why are these important? And why are affirmations things that are part of your life
Yeah.
uh, when it comes to the kind of things that you share?
Yeah, big time. Fitness for me is the foundation of navigating chaos. You step out in this world, the one step you take out of your door, you're gonna make a choice. There's choices that we make and choices that we have, and there's chaos everywhere. But fitness grounds me, and fitness is like an umbrella, right? So the meditation, the healthy eating, the communication with people, that's all my umbrella, and I use that to make me better, me stronger, and essentially to help people out. So you got a strong body, strong mind, you're building that mental fortitude, right, through fitness in a chaotic world. That's why I see it.
All right. Kisha is making fun of me. Kisha says, Goga, you're all decked out in your workout gear today, looking all manly rather than presidential and demure. I was telling Tony this before we started the live stream when we were backstage. He was like, Tony, don't judge me for not being like formally dressed and everything. It's because you're meeting a fitness person. I can't be looking all in a suit and
Okay.
stuff, and it just doesn't look right. So I was like, okay, I'm
Yeah,
just going to wear my t-shirt and just show up like
I
casually.
love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and this is a good question, maybe from TK. Nice of you
Yeah.
to involve and encourage the kids to be part of your routine and
Yes.
lifestyle, Tony. Start them young. You can never go wrong, my friend.
Oh,
Do you
100%, dude.
yeah, do
I
you get
agree.
them involved in other things just to keep them active and stuff? That is
Absolutely. A lot of physical fitness outside. We do a lot of like, things like working out in the backyard, running laps. When I come downstairs here, he'll come downstairs and he'll be doing some jump rope. He's improvising. He's got a little punching bag that he does. But one big thing is the healthy eating. And I tell my wife that too. When I'm home in the mornings, I make a fruit plate for him. And if you go under some of my lives, and we do like the product, we review products. He'll tell you right off, I like strawberries, I like blueberries at 4 years old, and it's start them young. And natural vibes at TK, you got that right. and he can tell you. I honestly, I'm gonna count on one hand. He can tell you the 5 different fruits, from strawberries, mangoes, blueberries, blackberries, and he just eats that up. So but yeah, definitely as a positive male influence and a role model for him. Now my other son, I don't know about him.
No,
He's got his
I like you keep mentioning Junior most. I'm wondering
Junior,
about
my
that.
2-year-old. He's got his own. He goes to the beat of his own drum. He's very silly, and I think he needs to stay around us a little bit more. But they're all good. They're all learning. They're all sponges. I tell you, they're all sponges, and yeah.
Nice. Kisha says, I will have to dig my fitness gear from the basement.
Yes,
Been inspired. You see, this is the beauty of the Sunday service. If Tony is the one who is going to make you get your fitness gear out of the basement, my
go
work
for
is
it.
done. My work is done. Then the mission has been achieved. The assignment was understood. The assignment was understood. Tony, what is the future looking like? Not just in terms of your
Yeah,
extreme fitness junkies, but also in terms of maybe visibility and more platforms. One of the things I like are your product reviews. There's a time I think I attended your live stream. It was a very quick live stream in the
yeah,
morning.
the
I think
quick.
you are rushing to work, but there's something you are reviewing, and I think it was a very great review. So I'm already seeing brand deals in the future because you're positioning yourself as an authority as well when it comes to the fitness space.
Mhm.
And a lot of people may want you to like also just talk about their products as the channel is expanding. These I'm sure things that you're also like alive to. But what does the future look like in your crystal ball of a channel?
Yeah. So yeah, I have a lot of ambition. I don't know what the future is gonna look like, to be honest with you. But what I do know, and I'm gonna tell you, is that every day we're gonna keep on pushing. And by that I mean is I'm working really hard to get more acclimated with YouTube. The lives are meant to give you what you want, and not ramble, because I can talk and talk. But the lives are there to get people what they need, like for product reviews. We want to do a lot more product reviews. I want to get in the area of doing more merchandise, sweatshirts, headbands. That invigorates people to do better. And those proceeds I want to put back into the community. I want to do something like maybe having like a 5K at a park, where we all meet up at a park through XFJ, and we do like these workouts, like Tough Mudders kind of thing. Want to do more with podcasts. I want to have, it's been a while since I posted on my last podcast, having more and interviewing more people. Maybe you could be one of my guests on my show in my near future. I would love
By all
that.
means.
Just sorting that out. And all the people that I've made connections with today, I really hope that you guys can get something out of this, and live a better life and do better for yourself. My number one is to help people. I'm very genuine. But yeah, just making a difference in this world. That's one of my number one priorities, and just being out there, and just doing the best I can do. Every day is a new day. Like I said, God, I'm very spiritual, and I appreciate God who's giving me all that I have with my family, my life, and I want to do better with the tools I have.
I love that. David Ant likes saying that, use the tools that you have to do better. And I like the fact that you just said it. It came right out of your mouth the same way I would have said it. Guys, a good story is good, but until another one is told, we have to let it rest at this particular point, because I did not imagine Tony was going to stay here for more than 2.5 hours. It's almost 3 hours now. Literally, he has exceeded literally double the time that we would have had him here. Tony, I'm going to give you a chance to run through any final any final things on your message.
Absolutely.
I know you may have taken some few notes in there.
Yes.
In case there's anything. I like how you are getting ready like you want to read out.
100%. I love talking. I love it.
That was so funny. I like that. It's like, Goga, I've been waiting. That was so funny. That was really well done. So I'll just give you a chance to.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't make it too long, I promise. But
no, take your time. Yes. Yeah. Let me give you that spotlight. I just want you to move. I know. Everybody's like, oh my God, Goga, is he like flipping all those pages? Like he's right here. No, it's how you did it for
Yeah,
me. So it's
I've been preparing for this since we started talking, so I just wanted to make sure that, you know, and that's how
I
I am
like
with everything, whether it be a
no.
business, whether it be work. I like to have my game plan set so I know, you know, what
Yes.
I need to do and how to do good. That's one of my main mottos here. Yeah.
I
Okay,
like that
so
because it also comes from your discipline. Because even me, anytime I have to, there's a time I think somebody called me, and I told them I did not pick the call, and they were like, "Goga, where were you? Because you had not started your live stream." I'm like, I was preparing for the Sunday service because I always have to prepare for the Sunday service like weeks in advance because in case you're going to speak to Tony, you have to get direction, and he will tell you the back and forth we had with him before we came up on the panel because he has to okay the title, he has to be comfortable with the topic.
right, yeah,
um and, like I also have to get his thinking and the kind of message he doesn't want to be left out once he leaves the Sunday service. The message of the co-host is always very important, and that's usually what spells the topic of the Sunday service. So Tony, I'm going to give you a chance to just
yeah,
like wrap up your thoughts. I'll put you on a solo layout for that. I want you to move slightly behind because your head is cut out because you may need to like repurpose this into a video at some point.
like,
So
is this
yeah,
okay for you?
move closely to yes, perfect.
Like
So
this?
yes,
Okay,
and then I'll put you on this layout. Then you
beautiful.
can finalize. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, guests. I really appreciate you all coming. Please subscribe, hit that like button. If you want to do better, subscribe to Extreme Fitness Junkie. So today, in a nutshell, I just want to talk about some really main points that could support you. This is all free. I'm not here to make any money. I'm here doing this in goodness of my heart. Strong body, strong mind, build that mental fortitude through fitness in a chaotic world. That's one of my big things. We talked about the Navy SEAL mindset. That's one of the grounded practices that I use with my fitness. We talked about OODA loop, OODA loop, observe, orient, decide, and act. And I gave examples. We also talked about VUCA, another Navy SEAL mindset. VUCA is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Second, foundations of fitness and fortitude. My personal fitness journey has not been a straight journey. It has been a skewed journey back and forth. I've got many injuries that I succumb, and I get back up on my feet and I do what I need to do to be the best I could be every single day. We all have a lot going on in our world, in our lives, and life happens, as I call it. Life happens, but it is your choice to do the best that you could do. I like to think of a lot of Navy SEAL philosophies that apply to fitness. Getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. The only easy day was yesterday. Don't forget that. Micro goals planning. I talked about my fitness. I talked about this fitness book. As you know, obviously orange is my favorite color. But, healthy eating, building that core, and keeping those headphones in because it's your life. You need to do better. We also talked about my macros and micro logging, my physical fitness. There goes my strength training. There goes my cardio training. Didn't talk about that with Goga, but that's all my core outdoor lunch and dinner walks, my meal preps. I give myself stickers. Just living life one day at a time. I feel like that really, I don't know your lives, but all I can say is, know more and do better. Always constantly keep reading, keep giving yourself information, always having that curiosity as a young child, and always trying to get as much as you can in this world to do better. Lastly, I want to thank So Royal Misha. I want to thank Goga. I'm probably gonna miss a bunch of people, but Yogi, I appreciate you. Though that's my YouTube family, but most of all, I want to thank my family, my friends, and everyone around me that has really, really pushed me to be the best I can be. And every day is a new day. So go get them, If you fall off, get back on that horse. You guys got this. Subscribe to Extreme Fitness Junkies, where fitness means happiness.
I'm reading a quote by an author called Ross Harkness. Ross Harkness says, this is powerful, guys. Ross Harkness says, it takes a certain kind of madness to go all in. Not talent, not luck, madness. I'll repeat. It takes a certain kind of madness to go all in. Not luck, not talent, madness. Because most people need a safety net, a backup plan, a way out. But the ones who actually make something of themselves, they burn the boat. Not because it is smart, but because they have to see what they are capable of. Going all in does not make sense. It is not logical. It is not safe. It is a full body, yes, in a world that worships hesitation. It is a full body, yes, in a world that worships hesitation. But 80% in only gets you 20% back. While 100% in gets you 1000% back. Because when you commit like that, when you bet on yourself with no exit strategy, you have no choice but to start playing a different game. Someone type different game on the chat. You think clearer, you move faster, you become the person who figures it out. So, if you're one of the few people who are mad enough, go all in. Because the cost of not doing it is living with the question, what if I had? And that question, it will haunt you far more than failure ever could. I'll repeat. So, if you're one of the few who are mad enough to go all in, because the cost of not doing it is living with the question, what if I had? And that question, it will haunt you far more than failure ever could. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been real, it's been good, and it's been real good. As you navigate the last week of May, go all in.